Sometimes you can have the best intentions and some really good goals for your money, but that pesky thing called debt gets in the way. Sometimes it can be such a stumbling block that it actually actively prevents you from doing the things that you want to do. That's just what we're going to be looking at in today's Budget Bestie. Hi guys, gals and non-binary pals, welcome to Budget with Ira. My name is Ira and on this channel we talk about budgeting, paying down debt and saving up for the life that you truly deserve. If that sounds like something you'd like to watch, please consider subscribing to the channel because we do have a lot of fun over here, bestie. We really do. In today's video, we're doing another episode of my series, Budget Bestie. Budget Bestie is a series where people anonymously submit their budgets to me. I take a look at them and see what I might do if I was in their shoes. This is not financial advice. However, sometimes I can impart some wisdom, a little bit of something the way I might do it. And in today's video, we've got a bit of a doozy. So shall we get into it? So I asked this person today what their main financial goal is, and they say, I have a two-part goal. I want to buy a house in the UK. Once our children have flown the nest, we will be looking to retire abroad. We need to get a house bought so we can A, reduce our outgoings because they currently rent, and B, have a property they can let out to give them a small additional income when they retire abroad. Very, very good. I like that. When they talk about what their main financial issues is, they say that the things stopping them from achieving their goals is we want the latest gadgets, holiday, and want to live our life because our current lifestyle, we have racked up a massive amount of debt. And bestie, let's go ahead and talk about this debt. So from my understanding, there are about 5 loans and 12 credit cards. It all looks like very, very small amounts of money, and it looks to me like it's death by 1,000 cuts. Like all of that adds up to a lot of money. And that's the thing that's preventing them from achieving their dreams. So they say they have 2 adults, 2 teens, 1 adult child has moved back home temporarily, and 6k of our credit card debt is his. He'll be paying £600 a month over 10 months starting in August to clear his debt. So that's good. Husband gets regular overtime, which is around £200 to £300 extra. I don't know if that's included in their number, so I won't include that just in case. And yeah, so there's quite a lot to look at this week. So I think what we've got here is one of those budgets where they've got a clear goal, they've got a clear vision, but it would be a lovely thing to just start saving for this home, just start saving up and make it happen. But debt is a stumbling block for them and it is eating up so much of their monthly income. So we're going to look at that, and I think probably what it's going to look like is a big debt repayment plan so that we can get serious about what this is actually going to look like and then start thinking about doing a home in a couple years time once that's gone. So I think it's about time we get budgeting, bestie. Okay, so here we are with this budget sheet. So this is something that is available on my Etsy store. It's a digital download of my big budget booklet, just because it makes it much easier. This budget in particular has quite a lot of bills. So we're going to be using this sheet today. I'm going to be sort of rushing through the budget section because it's not as intrinsically important as the actual debt repayment plan. So we're going to go through this budget bit first and then we'll get to the debt, but we'll be quite quick through this. So let's get started, bestie. So first of all, they list their income as 1, which is 3,710. But then they also say that their child is also going to be paying them back £600 a month. So I'm going to include that as their income because it will form part of their sort of debt repayment plan. So altogether that's 4,310. Now what I'm going to do really quickly is buzz through, list all of their bills, and I'll come back to you at the end of it. Okay, so the bills are now done and we've got quite a lot on here. So I just wanted to sort of go through a couple of bits with you. So we've got internet here, which I would like to sort of earmark to say that that is quite high. I'd be shopping around for that one to see if I can get that down. Then we've got here mobile phone. That one I'd be, that's just like, if you look, there's the other mobile. So like the parents, they have a mobile each. One's 18 and that's around about a good price, and this one's just too much. So I'd be looking to cancel that contract if it was my money. And then there's other stuff and we'll go through it, but we've got lots of union payments, we've got lots of subscriptions in here. And depending, it sounds like your kids are sort of in their teens, so trying to get rid of Netflix and Spotify and things like that probably is harder, like easier said than done. But I have got some recommendations, but we'll get to that when I bust out the red pen. But anyway, all of this altogether comes up to £1,807.90, which for bills, that's on the high side, I would say. Leaves you with £2,502.10, which gives you a bit of relief, but you'll soon see how quickly that goes. So in the envelopes, they have groceries, and what they've listed as their monthly spend on there is £563.34. Now, what I actually think that is that's how much they actually just spent last month without a budget. So that's where I think they're at. They like to do home maintenance, which I've put up here. Don't know why, but I put it up here, and they do £20, which I think is quite good. Then they have an eating out budget. Well, I think this is how much they spent on eating out last month. 108.34, and they listed that same price. So I assume it's a mistake for spending. But like, we'll just see. I'm just going to include that in anyway, because I think we are going to want a spending category. Anyway, that comes up to £800.02, which leaves them with £1,702.08. Now, they said they wanted 3 primary sinking runs. So home savings, so saving up for a home, they budget 0 at the moment. Holidays, which they should be saving for because they've got 2 this year and they don't know where they're going to get the money for. But they were talking about how gadgets are important to them and having the latest one is really important. So let's be realistic and have a budget for it rather than just putting it on credit cards, which is what I believe is happening. So anyway, at the moment, budget for all of that is 0. So they've still got the £1,702.08 remaining. So in terms of debt and savings, their total minimums each month is £1,011.47. Okay, so no overpayment at the moment. So let's put 0 in there. So their minimums on their debt is £1,011.47, which leaves them with £690.61. So if you remember, £600 was coming from their other kid in this budget. So they are £90 in the red, £90 in the black. So it's literally, without their son, they can't afford this stuff. So that's why it looks like things are going on credit cards. I feel like there's a real like sort of spending issue here. There really seems like there is one, to me, because like just to only have £90 at the end of the month, and this is all that we know about. Like, what about all of this other junk spending? Because I just feel like there's probably more than what we know, Bestie. So let's get this red pen out and see what I might do. So first of all, the income is the income. So 4310. In this, they were saying that there was opportunity for overtime, and if there is, fantastic, we'll add that to the plan. But yeah, so in terms of the bills, there's not much really that I can change without knowing more. So I'd like to get rid of a couple of subscriptions, but I'm assuming, and it feels like kids here are in their teens, so it's going to be really hard. So I would just recommend that this bill here, I would take to 0. I don't know what it is because it can't be Prime because they've got a Prime membership here, right? So I think that's just a bill that's snuck in there, hopefully. But I would get rid of YouTube, because for $19.99, all it does is gets rid of the adverts. You can just watch it with adverts, right? So those are the only things that I can realistically see to just get rid of. Obviously, there's a lot of money in piano lessons there. I don't know what a lot of these things are, but I think it's just a personal thing. What can you sort of get rid of without destroying your lifestyle, if that makes sense? So all of this comes up to 1,764.11. We're saving 50 quid, but that 50 quid is going to really come in handy. So you're left with £2,545.89. Okay, so let's get serious about these envelopes. So groceries, I think you need to be strict with yourself. I think you need to do £100 a week and try to stick to that. That gives you £400 in a normal month. I like your home maintenance, that's good. I think eating out needs to at least stop for now. And if part of your overtime goes towards it, lovely, that's fine. Be realistic about your spending as well. So I'd give yourself and your other half £20 each per week. So in a 4-week month, that's 160 quid. So that's what I'd get to. And look how much money you're saving already. So that's £580, leaves you with £1,965.89. So here I just arbitrarily put £100 into each one. I'd toggle with them as you see appropriate. Obviously there's not even Christmas in here, but at the moment I'm hoping that overtime can come in and do a little bit for that, but at the moment I'm just putting £300 towards sinking funds. I'm not really spending much time on it because I think the focus needs to be on the debt, so I'm thinking like £300 is appropriate. And if you're probably not in a space to save for home until your debt's gone, maybe just change that to Christmas. But anyway, that leaves you with £1,665.89. Bearing in mind, £600 is coming from the child, yeah? So we're going to keep the minimums to what they are, and then we're going to have an overpayment of £588.53, which means that your minimum sort of what you're going to chuck at debt each month is £1,600. It leaves you with £65.89 as a buffer, yeah, which I think is safe. So sticking to this, you can overpay by nearly 600 quid because, you know, you kind of, yeah. Anyway, let's flip this page over and let's start thinking about this debt repayment plan. Now, this debt repayment plan is going to be quite complex because there's so many debts. It's going to take a really long time. So I think what is the easiest thing for me to do is to go ahead and list the debts here, and then I'll come back to you. So here we are, we've got all of this debt listed, and there's, I think there's 12 credit cards here, and I think there's 5 loans. We've got a repayment thing to the HMRC, I think, where tax is owed, and we've also got car finance. So I wouldn't necessarily label car finance as a debt, but I feel like this person has, just because I feel like for some people, we just rent cars, right? So yeah, it's different. You can cut the last bit out or not. But yeah, so basically this is where we're at. So this is the debt name. Then we've got the total owed, and then we've got the minimum amount. So I feel like they've rounded up a little bit, but it is absolutely fine. So let's get started. So what we've agreed, or what I've said, the snowball amount is £588.53, right? If you chucked that from the first time you pay your debt, the first 3 debts come up to 480. So you'll clear the first 3 debts in your first month, right? What you'll have remaining from the 588.53 is 108.53. So then what you're left with to pay off on that debt in the second month is 239.47, yeah? Then when you add the remaining, that 209.37 to the 508 plus what you've saved up already, that is 638.53. I know it's hard to get to at the moment, but it's just because you're clearing so many debts in the first couple of months. So in 1 month later, you've cleared the next 2, okay? So you've collected all of this 10, 10, 20, 10, 10, 10, and you're adding it to this. So by the time you get to the 3rd month, your snowball is now 648.53. When you add it to the 10, it's 658.53, and that's basically the loan gone, yeah? And then we can copy that all the way down. So we're adding a 10 to it. I know it's slightly under. It's slightly under, but it is there or thereabouts. So 668.53 makes it 678.53, and then that's another month. So you're clearing like a debt a month, yeah, until you start getting to this section here. So by the time you get to credit card number 9, your debt snowball is 678.53. So if we add that on, 678.53, and then when we add the 29, that ends up being 703.53, which is more than enough to clear it in 2 months. So you see where it's all sort of there and thereabouts. When you add that snowball down here, it makes it equals 747.18, and then that'll have this one cleared in 2 months. And then when you add your 747 to that fiver, that makes it 752.18, and that will have this cleared in 3 months. And then when you move that down to the 27, that makes it 779.18, and you'll have that debt cleared in 3 months. Then when you add that to the £50.50, that makes it 829.68, and then you'll have this debt done in 3 months. Then when you add that to the 63.30, this then becomes 892.98, and then it's 4 months. That one's a bit of a bigger one there, because we're starting to get into really, really big ones. So now you're adding 802.98 to, and that's your snowball so far. You're adding that to the 39.92. Then you're almost getting to 1K for the 98. You're almost getting to 1K for your debt. So this one will be gone in another 4 months. And then when you add the 932 to the 41 quid, that then becomes 973.90, which means it's another 4 months. And then when you add that, that's when we start to get over 1K. So when you add those together, it's 1169.83, which means with that, chucking that at that big loan, you'll have that done in 7 months. Now, your next step you could do or not do, but if you add your snowball to your car finance, that then becomes 1600, and then that is 8 months. So in order to be completely and comprehensively debt-free, this is a 45-month plan, which is 3 years, 9 months. It's a long time, but then when you go back to it, you've now got a space where you're going to have an extra £1,000 every month. So saving up for a home then becomes so much easier. Obviously, I would do a lot of work in trying to reduce this as 0. As you said, you know, your kids will be leaving the nest eventually. You won't be paying for their mobile phones, which is like a nearly 70 quid bit there. Starting to try and get rid of these subscriptions and things like that, because there's a lot here, and I know it's tough to keep teenagers entertained and stuff like that, but there's a lot of money coming out that you might not need to. Obviously, you're not going to pay for piano lessons forever as well. So yeah, I completely get it. I completely understand why you're in the situation that you're in. It completely makes sense, but I'd be definitely looking at this debt situation. Obviously, what we've got to remember is we're planning in a £600 situation, but you're only going to have that for 10 months. So this is a 3-year, 9-month plan. So how do you get to a place where you're earning that extra £600 when your child's not paying back what they owe? So getting to a place where you're side hustling, overtime, to make that extra £600 like count. But potentially where you make the savings is in your bills and spending less on your envelopes and maybe not getting the gadgets as frequently as you want to. But yeah, that is what I would do. What do you think, besties? Hi guys, gals and non-wire pals, thank you so much for getting through to the end of the video. You know I love it when you get through to the end of the video. Please give this video some love. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe, and if you are going to comment, please use this emoji. What do you think of today's budget? I mean, there was a significant amount of debt. It's more debt than I ever had, and I mean, it looks tough, but I think if with that roadmap that they've set out, I think they can do it. What would you do? There were some wonderful comments on last week's video just saying that they'd probably do it a little bit differently, and I love seeing that stuff. So keep it coming, bestie. We are at the end of today's video, and I just want to say thank you so much for making this series as popular as it is. I really, really enjoy filming it, but an extra special thank you to the channel members and the patrons who make all of this possible. So thank you so much. Patron members get discount off my Etsy store. They get sneak peeks to things. It's a wonderful place to be. So if you would like to join them over on Patreon, please take a look at the link in the description. You will not regret it, bestie. Also, if you're thinking about submitting your budget for me to take a look at, there's also a link for that in the description. Make sure you do that if you want me to have a look at it. That's it for this week, and until next week's budget, bestie, I would like you to have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and have a wonderful budget. Always remember, don't trust Ira. And bestie, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.